Hello everyone. Sorry I'm running a few minutes late. We've got a bit of a different setup today. Just because if any of you weren't aware, last weekend was kind of like doomsday for me. So yeah, we are doing this from my dining room table. I now have hot water back, which is a positive because I realize that it's actually a lot harder living without hot water than what it is with. And let's get started. So for anyone who their Facebook isn't working too great, there is also the option of going onto YouTube and using it. So basically you just hop onto YouTube here. Yeah, I know I've got some weird stuff on my feed. And then we go with Naomi-Jon Redshaw. Art generally does the trick. And then if we go here, there should be a live happening. Oh, there we are. So I've also changed how the front of my the front of my videos look like, the banner bit, so then the classes are a little bit more easier to identify which one's which, because I realized that you guys couldn't really see what I had created in the past by what I was doing, for a bit of feedback that I got, which was really helpful. Thank you so much for it. So yeah, so I've got the wrong banner on this, but I will fix that up. It's not the Friday Night Live scrub along, it's this Mixed Media Saturday with Naomi. So hello everyone, hello Sandy, hi Di, hi Tanya, hi Mary, hi Marlene. Okay, let's get started, shall we? So today we're going to have another crack at this Crackle Paste, which we did do we did at the start of this art journal, which means it was kind of in January, I believe. However, it didn't really work because my Crackle Paste I had been using as glue for a point in time at university just to make one of my lectures really mad, which at the beginning felt like a smart move. However, it ruined my Crackle Paste and it didn't really work as well as what it could. So we're going to retry using our Crackle Paste on the last page of this art journal to finish it off with a nice rounded class and get on and maybe use some cogs. And I was thinking we could have a try at using cold leaf / copper leaf. Mum and Dad do have some of this in the store. It doesn't really ever get bought. I think it seems scary because of the fact that it like flakes everywhere and all the rest of it. But we're gonna focus on how to use this in a way that's not too bad and like you'll really get down pat. I think you guys will really like it because it's kind of just like using waxes without getting your hands even a little bit dirty. So if anyone doesn't like their hands dirty, this is the way to go. Anyway, so let's get started, shall we? So I figured what we would do is because Crackle Paste is such a heavy compound, is that we kind of want to get rid of the backing to our art journal. Now, not the backing per se, but it is going to get a little bit bumpy on this last page because we don't longer have to worry about the crocodile effect. It's our last page, which is nice. So we can go a little bit wild with the decorations and all the rest of it, but I want to get down first a little bit of a layer with some stamps. So I've just got my general script stamp and I'm going to get some inks. Hold up, let me just grab my trolley. Sorry, it's a different setup. Sorry about that one. So it's a completely, oh hello Sandra, hi Chloe. It's a completely different setup from what we're used to because I'm creating while sitting, and like everything has been put into plastic containers in my apartment. There is none of this. There is, oh hello Bronny, there is no like everything fits in a crate now. So yeah, we've got to kind of uncrate it all at the beginning of the class. It's like an unboxing. Is the quality on Facebook not that good? Okay. If your Facebook isn't working, I highly suggest the YouTube. I think it might be a little bit better. It just depends. Okay. It's a bit worrying because I have to teach 2 classes today. Also, happy retreat weekend for anyone who's doing the, I think it's the Out and About retreat. I am teaching this afternoon my surprise class, which is still a surprise. All good there. Okay. That's, thank goodness, it's all good. Someone's. Tanya, if it is not working at yours, I highly suggest the YouTube link. Just sometimes Facebook decides, you know, throw a curveball, and in that case, we just need to keep on going. So before I put down my Crackle Paste and use my some orange up in this pen. Okay, fix that one. Before putting down my Crackle Paste, because it's kind of is like the final last detail or a mid-between detail, we really want to, I think this might be out of ink. Yeah, it's out of ink. I'll need to refill that one. Before we put down our Crackle Paste or use our copper lid, I just want to get down a little bit of colour, like not too much, very much, just a little bit. It'll help us with the effort that comes next. Also, if you do have any colour suggestions this morning, just let me know in the comment section. Or anything like that. If you want me to try any patterns, I cannot draw snowflakes. I did go and practice over the weekend from last week's class, and it's official that that's going to take a little bit more time before I do that one on a live. Oh no, Tanya, I'm sorry. Sometimes it's just like that. Would you believe that Thursday nights my internet barely works here? But then on Saturday mornings it seems to be okay. That's why we actually changed from Thursday nights to Saturday, because for some reason Thursday nights no matter what I did, my Wi-Fi was just bad. Like it was just to the point of horrible. I remember my mum being like, this is not okay. And I was like, well, yes, you're correct. Oh, hello, Marge. Right, so why don't we wait for that one there to dry? What we're going to do is, and I just realised that we kind of don't want to have to wait the whole entire class for this. So we're going to put that one off to one side. And, as you can tell, I'm really making this up as we go along. Hello, Trish. And we're going to do actually our Crackle Paste and cold leaf / copper leaf techniques on our cogs. So these are just some white linen cogs. Would you believe they're the most painful thing to cut out on the or nearly one of the most painful sheets to cut out on the cameos? Which means you should buy lots of them because Dad has to do their custom cuts. I'm not at all vindictive. Okay, right here we go. So, we've got all of that. Now, I know you guys can't see that, so I'm going to get a sheet of something in a second. I did get something for this. One minute, sorry about that. I am cutting a sheet now. Woo, look at that, he's prepared, ladies. Get them while he's prepared. Right, and then, there we go, you should be able to see this. This is just a black sheet of vellum. I'm just going to use it so then you guys can see what I'm kind of doing here. should just be a little bit more clearer. Fingers crossed. Okay, right, but that needs to be held down by something. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. Righty, okay. So now we've got those ones. Right. So here we go. So I'm just going to remove our Crackle Paste. This is what the consistency of Crackle Paste should be like. A bit clumpy, but overall, just don't focus on the texture of it, or else it might make you bubble a little bit. That happened a few times to me, just a few. So what we want to do is we kind of want to make these into the most grungiest things we've ever seen. And by doing this, we're going to use a little bit of contrasting mediums, which means that we're going to get out our oil pastels and we're going to get out our watercolors, because as we have learnt, oil pastels and watercolors don't mix on some of our past classes. We're really going to use all of our tricks of the trade. We're going to get out some alcohol ink. I just need to find where I put my watercolor palette from last week's disaster. Woohoo! Interesting enough, I know it was one of the things that didn't get molded. Oh, there it is. Now my watercolors. Love the gears. Yes, they are amazing, aren't they? I'm like fascinated with gears, but at the same time, these things definitely get rid of that fascination when you have to peel them. Right, here we go. So we're going to come in and we're just going to go and do a little bit of this and that on some of our gears to make them grungy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to apply some of our oil pastels, just a few of them. This means that the other mediums won't really go over top. Apply that. I'm going to put the lid on the Crackle Paste for a little bit, just because we don't want to really leave it open to the elements for very long. Because Crackle Paste is quite temperamental with drying, and depending on your humidity and all the rest of it, you never know. So we're just going to do a little bit of drying on that one. Then we're going to shake up our alcohol in, but before we put on any alcohol, we're going to come in and just get some of this brownie colour on our watercolour palettes, which I have checked is on all of the watercolour palettes. You know, for the one colour that you think that they would transfer through the whole entire design would be like, I don't know, a pink or a blue or something, but no, they seem to stick always with the same segments of browns. Which today we want brown, and we kind of want to make mud because we want these to be as grungy as possible. So we're just coming in. And we're getting all that. There. So you want to cover a few of them, but not too many. So that we've got the brown down, what we want to come and do next is I'm just going to shake up our alcoholic. We're going to use the fluoro pink one. We're going to use the fluoro ones because they tend to be a little bit heavier, but they spread a bit more. I don't know how to explain it. They're heavy, but they spread. It doesn't make sense. But it does when you add water to it. Has to be on a grungy Saturday. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tanya. I thought let's stick to something that I'm really good at is grunge. So need something to brighten up this week. Yeah, that's been a great one. But yes, we're doing grungy, and I'm sorry about your internet. Now remembering when we use alcohol ink, we have to have the best ventilation possible in our apartment. So that means windows open. If you've got screen doors, like glass sliding doors that have screens behind them, those are open, fans on, all the rest of it. Don't have your aircon on because your aircon will just keep cycling those fumes through. So you might have to turn the heater off for a little bit, which is just fun. And then, yeah. So, best ventilation possible. If you have sensitive skin, wear gloves, all the rest of it. Obviously, try not to eat it. Or just don't eat it. I shouldn't say try. Don't eat it at all. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the whole health and safety of it. Don't get me wrong, it's not that bad of a product. It's just that because it's got a few fumes on it and stuff like that, it's better to be safer than sorry, as we all know. Now, here we go. So we're just going to come in and put a little bit on to each one of our wheels. Now, it's okay if we get it on the black mat, because what we'll do is we'll just turn the ones over that didn't get any. And give that to thingamabob. Here we go. Now, that we've got those, I'll just want to do a little bit of stamping on them, and I want to do them with my black bicarb ink. I know that the general rule, if anyone's been to like some fancy art classes or remember people saying that you don't really put black with brown when it comes to artworks because they have two different grey tones. It's all good. It works completely in grunge. Oh, yes, that was alcoholic. So we use the fluoro ones. It's because they've got like that bright vibrancy, and it also will come through the crackle paste that we put in little segment areas when we do it. So then it like brings it out. It's also why I don't think I explained this, which I'm truly sorry. It's why I also put down the pastels. I did some scribbles with pastel ink pen gold. And that's because it will mix with the water and it kind of merged out and gave them a little bit of a shine. For example, I'll just show you this one here. Kind of merged out with the water and blended it a little bit. And also because it stays on top of the alcohol ink, it doesn't mix, which means that it's permanent once the alcohol ink goes on top, which is quite nice. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come in and do our stamp. So sample stamp there. And Right, and I'm just using a light, it's a small dot one. I'll show you what it kind of looks like in a second. I realised that I kind of forgot I had these smaller pods that I've got to go into. Yeah, I've got my eyes set on that fluoro green one. I don't know what it is about it. It just says hello. Oh, hello, Lexi. It just seems like a really good colour. And I'm sorry if I pronounced Lexi's name wrong. Oh, hi, Deborah. Sorry, I missed your comment. It only just popped up. Righty. Oh, sorry. Just let me check the YouTube just because when I'm normally standing, I can see both fronts of comments. We can answer at the same time, but I'm sitting, so it means my phone's up there, so I can't see all the comments until they pop up, which is a little bit of annoyance, but it's all good and good, as they say. So what have we got? We've got all of that done. Right. The next thing we need to do is we need to add our crackle paste, but I don't really want it just to be white because we are trying to grunge this up a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on quite generously, but not too generously, and then that didn't make any sense. Sorry. Let me use English. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit on a few of the cogs, and then, but quite thick. So the cogs are going to be very thick in general. So then we do get those cracks. So we won't really be putting it on these flimsy ones like this one or these ones here with lots of holes. We're going to go with more of the ones that have a nice amount of space in them, like this one here. And then we're going to go over top of them with a light misting of colour. Now this means that the colour will seep through the crackle paste, but it won't stop it from crackling. Whereas if we mix the crackle paste with paint before applying it, the paste will actually not crackle because you've changed the chemical consistency, and it'll just become modelling paste, or like this really gluggy mass that won't dry. So to get colour into crackle paste, you've got to first apply and then do a light misting of colour on top. It's a bit of a quick trick I've learnt over time. So what we're going to do, so it doesn't have to be like that. And then we are going to come in with, so I'm sure everyone in their stash has got like a paintbrush that has been unfortunately forced into retirement because the glue, because it's been used with matte medium and hasn't been cleaned well enough the first time round. That's what that one there is. So I'm just going in and just moving the crackle paste out of the holes that I want to keep. So then we'll do, I think this little small one here we'll do, so just a nice scrape. You only want like a little bit on the tip of your palette knife, because they are only made of paper, so it does mean they do have limitations heads up with how much you can put on them. Just realized that you probably can't see the crackle paste on my paint palette knife because it's been Naomi-ified at best, I could say. It's just got more gesso on it than you can imagine. And then what have we got next? Oh, there we go. Now, sticking these on might be a little bit more of a difficulty than expected, but they'll be fine. go. And you do realize that I'm lifting them up while I apply, and that's just so that they don't get stuck to our black sheet. Slash, this is black vellum that we're working on, so anything that gets splashed on this will just go into an artwork as collage, literally. And well, good morning, Lorraine. Right. I think that's enough crackle paste. Like, I don't want to do it on every single one of the cogs, just because then it kind of just looks like we've done a machine type job, like not machines. And also we do want a bit of difference between each cog. It wants to be same. Now that we've got that there, so like I said, now that we've got those down there, we can come in and mist some colour on. But first I want to add some of our goldy glitter. So I've just got this glitter here, and I'm gonna put some on my paint palette. I don't know if you can. I'll get my paint palettes on the screen. Sorry, and then just with my finger come in and brush it on a bit. To add the copper leaf in the end, we will have to get rid of, we'll have to dry each of the cogs, but that's okay. It's just so that it doesn't turn long, so it doesn't go a little bit gluey. Go, and now, oh, morning, Karen. Oh, that's okay, Lorraine. I was late this morning. I finished cleaning all the mold off my ceiling. I was very happy with myself. I called my mum and I was like, I have finished it this week. All I have left is vacuuming, and then my apartment is clean. And all the mold is gone. Which is like a very big effort. Right, so now we've got that there. What we want to come in is we want to get our heat tool and we want to dry most of our stuff. We don't really want to try and focus drying the crackle paste, because if we try and dry the crackle paste with the heat tool, it won't crack. It will just turn into normal paste, but we want to try and dry as much as the watercolour and the glitter, just so then it doesn't mix too much with the copper leaf that we're going to use. So there we go, our heat tool is live. And that one out of the way. We're just gonna dry these. It'll be like a touch dry thing, not a. Oh no! I hope you have a good day, Sandra. I hope you get stuck skipping your curry. That does not sound fun at all. Take care, Sandra. I hope your hip gets a bit easier to deal with today. And then I know it's such a good way to find some other way of using your cogs and gears you've got in your stash. So, and if you don't have them, you do have plenty on the online store. Now that we've got those ones there, what we want to come and do is, so most of it's touch dry now, which means it's like it's all good to touch and all the rest of it. It might still leak a little bit, but that's okay. But what we want to come and do is actually, before we even apply that, I kind of want to ink them a little bit, but I'm afraid I might ruin my ink pad. So the other way we can go about inking them is, I'm just trying to see if I've got any black paint. Lo and behold, I have some black paint. That's positive. Okay, so we're just going to pour a little bit of that out. And it's just the Art by Marlene Peach colour. For this technique, however, you probably do want to try and use some black gesso, just because it's a little bit more darker and it might give you that more of that grunge effect. If you want to go with like a heavy grunge, definitely suggest black gesso because it's a bit thicker. However, if you want to go with that more lighter grunge, black paint with the Art by Marlene's Pitch will work perfectly. So you just come in and we're just going to use our finger with a little bit of it on to kind of like an ink pad. And this just helps us to make a big contrasting interest between the colours that we've already got on our set cogs. I will lift each one of these up so you can see kind of what we're doing. Maybe we should have called this morning's class how to embellish embellies. Make grungy clogs. See how I go. Sorry, you didn't see where I did that one. Right, so now that we've got all of those, a little bit. Oh no, I have cardstock ones. So these are the white linen ones that Mum and Dad make. I just find they're a bit better for the art journals because they're less thicker and easier to stick down. Also, I don't really have any good embellishments left after the weekend. My apartment decided to make them mouldy. So, yeah, we won't be using much chipboard or anything with balsa wood related. The only things that were wood that didn't get mouldy was my dining room table and anything that was pine. And thank goodness that was my bed slats and the teaching frame. So, yeah, last weekend is not something I want to go back to. Sorry about that. I'm trying to put it behind. Okay, so now that we've got that there, I actually think I want to leave my Crackle Paste white now that I've went through that whole statement of how to colour it. Just because it looks really nice with the contrast, but I do want to add a little bit of my copper flaking. So what I'm going to do is, they come in these sheets, so it's got like a sheet in between each one. You can see, so we've got a bit on that one there still, but we might use a full sheet now. Just so then you can see what it looks like. So this is what it kind of looks like. So you peel back the Glad wrap. Yeah, I've gotten rid of it all now. It's funny how material objects can have a lot of meaning. I don't really classify myself as a material type person, but some of the things that were naughty was hard. The paint caddy that my mum and dad got me when I was in grade 10, when I started to take my art a little bit more seriously at high school. Yeah. It went moldy and it had been pretty much everywhere to uni. It had gone with me to Melbourne and Townsville. Yes, I took it on planes. It'd gone to scout camps, school, university. I think I already said uni. Every place where I lived, it was always with me from like grade 10. So a bit more of a harder thing to lose, but my paint caddy currently is a plastic glue crate, which is fun. By the way, Bunnings is having a crate sale for anyone who doesn't know. It's great. So, I don't know if it's still on, but it was on when I needed them, which was lovely. It was kind of like oh my gosh, something's going my way. Right, so with our copper leaf, it's going to stick to basically anything that is a little bit wet. So that glitter glue that we haven't dried and the black paint. So we want to come in and we just want to, if you've ever had the expression of dry brushing, so you put a little bit down, for example, and just dry brush it on. And you just rub until all the excess stuff's coming off. There we go. I'm just trying to be careful not to spread the black paint too much. Okay. And it's just about coming in and rubbing it on and rubbing it until it's flat. So it does take a little bit of effort. You can do this with a paintbrush, which is a little bit easier, but we do have a lot of mediums on here that are wet. So if you are working with dry things, just a little bit of glue stick glue will work the trick, or Dimension Magic that you have to go tacky. It's like using foil, but without any of the heat. In saying that, don't try and stick it on with an iron because it'll just iron to your iron. So it'll just stick to your iron. So yeah. So sad keepsake, but some treasure. Yeah. Yeah, it was not a moment, but I want to relive last weekend. Coupled with no hot water, it was a weekend that I will not forget. Very soon. So then in. No, we don't really want to do this once again to every cod, just because then it becomes a little bit too much and it's not really a contrast, it's just very plain, ordinary. So we want to keep it minimal, if that makes sense. And it is hard to stop once you get started because, like, oh, just a little bit here and a little bit there, maybe. Right. And then once we're done with it, we grab the extras that we've got of that sheet and we put it back into here, and it just preserves that copper leaf, so then there's no waste whatsoever. Alright, now that we've got those ones there, I'm just going to lift them up for you to see. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to lift this one up so you can see what we've kind of done, and then we're going to go into our art journal and grab the backing started. So that's our cogs there. Sorry, I'm going to keep that up for a few more seconds. It might seem like a really long time on the camera. It's just because I'm trying to make sure I got it in the right position. Right, I think you can see all of them. Yeah, you can see most of them. Cool. So we're just going to go and put that down over there nice and carefully and come back to our art journal page and get the background working. So now we know what colour palette is kind of our cogs. We can come in and get this a little bit more grungified and a bit more colour to it. So we've got pink and copper over there, which means that like a purple might do really nicely here, and some other colours. So let's pull out our purple. If anyone has any colour suggestions, now's the time to make them. Yeah. What do you think we purple? Oh, we have a light purple. Right. So we're just going to get this lavender of our Art by Marlene. I'm going to apply it like so. And by applying it this way, we are going to just use it to make our drips. So our cogs are very detailed, so we don't need to do too much of like a detailed type background, but we still need a little bit of colour on there, I think. And it is important that we do match the cogs is a little bit in colour, but not too much. So we might add some of our oil pastels in there and everything else like that, just to make it a bit grungy. So we'll come in and add our gold. Pastel again, and yes, I am doing this on the back of my art journal book. On the cover of it, but that's okay. You can paint on the cover. Nothing bad about that one. And come do this bit. What we're going to do next is we're just going to do another pattern with our with our oil pastels. This will just create that contrast that we got with our cogs already. So get them to kind of blend, but not too much. We've got that one there. So we just want to really keep on going with the grunge effect that we've already got started. I know I don't use black a lot, but this one is probably going to need just a little bit of it. What we're going to come in and do is we're just going to grab our alcoholic, remembering to keep the place well ventilated, even when you finished it, keep it well ventilated for a couple of hours afterwards. It will just help with the whole process. Try to stamp it out. What we might do is we might put a little bit on our paint palette that's made of resistance, so it means that the alcohol won't stick to that, and stamp it down. So you can use alcohol ink as like a bit of an ink stand. You just have to immediately put your stamps into water and try and get it off as quickly as possible. It does, or else it will stay your stamps a little bit more. So if you do have some stamps that have already gone through some hard times that are on their last legs, then I highly suggest that you go ahead. But if you've got like a really nice stamp that's quite new, maybe not so much use it with alcohol ink, because you want that bad boy to last as long as possible. Thank you. Yes, we're trying to make it a bit grungy, so everything's not making compositional sense. If that makes sense. Like, we're trying not to make sense of the composition, or the layout, and just having a bit sobratic. That way, then when we do add the cogs in, it kind of links it all together in a sense. Because we do want things to be a little bit more lighter. Right, now we're going to come in with our white paint. And with this Stetson here. We might actually go sideways, I think. We normally go up and down, like straight away, but I think sideways might work a bit better this time around. I'm just trying to see if I've got any. Very bits, but. Where was it? Oh, here it is. Right. Sorry. Just grabbing that from you good. And we're going to come in with our paint palette and do it with our white paint. It will give it a bit more of a thickness to it, meaning that the cogs will sit up in it, which is quite nice. And it means then that the resistance of the oil pastel won't work against our white bits and pieces. There we go. Now we've got that one. There, and then so now we've got all of that. We want to come in and add some of that brown that we added to our cogs, so then they mix just a little bit better. Right, so now we've got that there. So I'll just lift it up so that you can see kind of what we've got going for us there. So that's what we've got. And then we're going to grab our stencil and just give me 1 second. I forgot to put water in my spray bottle before. Oh yes, well last weekend was happening. I decided to find myself a new spray bottle. So look how big it is. It's amazing. Right. Okay, so we're just going to come in. So I've got to take off the nozzle a bit more. Okay. There we go. Now we've got it working. Right. Interesting one. And with that, kind of did what I wanted it to. So I'm spraying clear water of this pattern down. Just so then when we flick on our watercolour on its colour, it like kind of spreads nicely and we don't have to worry too much about it. And the next colour will be this copper, yeah, this terracotta colour. So I'm just going to come put it on really nicely everywhere because we've already got water on the page. Nice. Yeah, it's going to match the cogs perfectly. And then the stencil thing didn't really do what I want to do, but we'll do that in another class to kind of get what I was aiming at there. I'm just going to come back with this yellow because we did add it on the first lot. Go. So now that we've got our yellow and all of the colours added in that we wanted to add in. Excellent, Dad. Oh, have a good day, Marlene. Righty, so now we've got all of that. We can grab our cogs that we have made. We're just gonna kind of place them where we want them to go. We don't have to use all of them, just a few. And we might merge some into like the collage that we've got. I think, like, I haven't used all the cogs I've made, but I'm quite happy. Actually, I might need one more. Just not a big one, maybe a small one. Okay, it's quite a light, like, layer. And they do merge in a little bit, but they look quite nice, I think. Like, you can just see where they are. I am going to come in and glue them down now with our gel medium, and then I think we might be finished. To glue them down, I am going to use more of the liquidy type thing, the gel medium matte acrylic from the from this type of bottle. Now, the gel medium matte acrylic is just a little bit, you'll find, more liquidy than the gel medium paste that comes in the tubs. And I want to use that because it's more likely to stick down and it won't get cluggy in the holes. It will be more of like a thin layer, and it can also seal some of the layers underneath, which means they won't mix too much with the cogs on top while the crackle paste dries and cracks over the coming week. So I'm just going to come in and do our usual glue. So glue on the back and glue on the paper it's going to go. And stick down. They kind of got mixed with some yellow. Okay, kind of, not really. It's my fault. Right, a bit more colour there. Down. And last but not least, oh, hold up, that's not the last cog. Kind of missed a few in between. It's like, oh, this is going quite well. No, I just missed a couple. Only a couple. Right. And now that all of those are stuck down, I'm just trying to see if it needs anything else. I think I might come in with my pastel. No. A lot of it's still wet, so it might not go down fully, but I'll get a bit of a scarlet in. Where it's needed, and then I'm just trying to see. I think we're finished. I'll hold it up for you to see. So this is the last page in this art journal that we have been using. This is him here. As you can see, it's a bit different what we're used to. So I think it's done. Yeah. Thank you all for coming this week. For those of you who are, yeah, so it adds a dimension to it, if I can just lift it that way a bit. And the Crackle Paste will crack over the next week. So I will take some photos of when it's cracked and I'll show you guys next week. Thank you all for coming. Now, for those of you who are doing the retreat, we are back and live at 2 p.m. for my surprise class. And then after that, Mum has 2 classes this afternoon. One at 4 and then the Saturday night, which will be on the main Facebook group, so everyone can watch that. What was I going to say? Oh, and next week, because this is the last page in this art journal, we are starting on a new art journal, if I can find it. Yes, here it is. So this will be our art journal that we're going to use from next week onwards. It's the Art by Marlene one. It's the black one. I think she also has a coloured version background. But yeah, so that's the one that we're going to start using. So thank you all for coming. And I hope you have a great week ahead of you. And have a great day. Bye.